Live from the Liquor in Front, Poker in the Rear Palace and Bingo Parlor, inside the Sugar Walls room, it's Cocktails with Heather, starring Heather Diane, Papaya Goldenstern, and me, Mike Sutherland. On today's show, Dear Miss Heather, our fetish of the day. I'm not going to tell you guys what these are. The dating advice that Heather will shit on. Misconceptions of dating. The drink of the day, which includes tequila and Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Oh.
And we read a chapter from a bad porno book over 70s porn music.
Oh my God, yes. Yes. I'm excited about that edition. I've done that over a karaoke machine once at a pool party.
But bad porn over karaoke?
Yeah. It was. I mean, it wasn't like music. It was just like loud. And then I realized much later that the neighbors could hear.
I was looking up Penthouse Forum.
Oh. Hold on. Wait for it.
Cocktails in. Oh, yeah.
He almost missed it. He was just so excited about the 70s porn.
Sorry about that.
We're sorry. We apologize for Papaya
Sorry.
and his cocktails.
You guys are premature ejaculators.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to Papaya because...
Fucking Papaya. Why am I every week I'm a goddamn Papaya?
I don't know.
I don't know. Why are you a Papaya?
Because I don't want... Every time... Okay, so the whole joke behind this is... if you've ever watched the TV show Psych...
Yes.
Okay, so you have Sean and Gus. And every time Sean goes and introduces himself, he's Sean, and this is, Ramstein von Gergelheim, or whatever the fuck his name
Gives
is
him
for
a weird
Gus.
name.
Right? So I'm like, we should do that for Joe. And I have a fucking list of these names that I would just make, like, Velvet von Rooseveltenstein. Right?
Trap, yeah.
Yeah.
But I like Papaya.
Yeah, but Papaya is just... We really like Papaya Ascot, and I'm going with Papaya for the rest of the rest of the season or whatever we're gonna do. But I just have to come up with different nicknames.
And Goldenstern,
it
sounds like you would argue with a guy at an ice cream shop about a coupon while you're wearing a $10,000 Rolex.
Yeah,
sounds like a gay jeweler.
A gay Jew.
Well,
gay jeweler.
A lot of jewelers are.
How do you
Jewish.
get gay Jew or Papaya Goldenstern?
Because Papaya is a very sassy name.
It
can be
very Papaya.
sassy.
It's like mango.
Sassy.
Mango.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to use mango because they were using mango in another podcast. So
You use mangosteen.
No, I didn't want to use Papaya mangosteen. It doesn't roll off the tongue.
Papaya golden showerin'.
Yeah, I could have used that. Papaya incestuous.
Ooh, yeah.
Use that.
All right.
Thank you.
Every time, I think we should tailor your name to the show.
Good idea.
So, like, Papaya...
So poking her in the rear. So what would go with poking her in the rear?
Papaya Flaming Cheeto. Papaya Tequila Shot.
You could be... Well, you say the bingo parlor, so we could be like Papaya B12. That's a vitamin. B6. Oh, that's also a vitamin.
Vitamin... Papaya
Oh,
vitamin.
5.
Papaya 05.
Papaya B5.
I was, the other thing is, we could call the Papaya Velvet Lining.
Oh, that sounds bad. That sounds bad.
No, man, that's coordinating this.
Coordinate.
To go,
Yeah, you got
to
to coordinate.
to go with the Sugar Walls.
Oh,
thing.
no. It all sounds gross. Sounds dirty.
Sugar Walls, which is
I gotta take a shower.
Isn't that a Sheila E. song?
Yes, it is.
You know what it is about, right?
Her vagina.
That's why I said it. Yes, thank you. You didn't know that, Joe?
I don't know if I don't even remember the song, so...
I'm not going to play the song because...
Penis, penis, vagina, vagina, vagina.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Put the cookie down.
Are you ready for the Dear Miss Heather of the day?
Oh, God. Okay, yeah.
Dear Miss Heather, I recently found out my stepfather, who just married my mother 2 years ago, is currently having a sexual relationship with my wife of 4 years, behind my back. Well, it's not really behind your back if you know it.
Not anymore.
And has been since late summer or maybe even before that. Can you tell me what the score of the Patriots game is going to be in Super Bowl 53?
That is not part of the letter. That is not part of the damn letter.
Oh, okay.
I just hope both teams have fun.
What are the probabilities of a team going 0-0-16 in the regular season? No.
God damn sports talk.
16 ties?
16 ties.
That-
I asked that.
Damn, that's like Royal Flush fucking territory.
Yeah, but how many games this year had to go into overtime, minus the playoffs? How many
think there
games
were-
had to go into overtime?
I don't know, but I think there were more ties this year than I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, how many games did the Cleveland Browns lose in the last second when they were tied to a field goal? Like 5 or 6?
I don't know.
So I mean, it's possible. It's possible to. I mean, anything's possible in
Any given Sunday, right?
So
Any given season.
what are the chances? Anyways,
I just really don't like sports.
I don't care.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, why are you fucking bringing it up?
He
This
does
is
that
the
on
Cocktails
purpose.
with Heather, and you bring up the Patriots.
Just like my bosses do. They talk about it on purpose.
I brought it up on purpose because it's my job right now until Super Bowl Sunday to remind you both that the New England Patriots
Or
are
once
playing
again.
in the fucking Super Bowl.
Again.
Oh, wait. Oh, well,
Again.
next, why don't we talk about TPS reports?
Hey Joe.
Many moons ago, when Buffalo still roamed this land,
Four fucking Super Bowls in a row.
the Patriots hadn't been to a Super Bowl. I don't know when. I don't know statistics. I just know that it
1986.
was a year. Okay, so the next one that they went into after that.
1997.
That sounds accurate. That's
Drew
a good
Bledsoe,
year.
right?
So that year,
I think so, yeah.
that year, our brother, because they finally got into the Super Bowl, said, if the Patriots win the Super Bowl, I'm going to run down the street naked.
Did he?
And I said, you're on. So we're watching the Super Bowl, and as they were still winning, and we get further and further into the game, it starts going, well, I'll run around in my underwear. Then a little bit further. Well, I'll
just take my
run
shirt
down
off.
without my shirt on. And then it was, well, I'll run around in the backyard. Like, it just kept going further and further. They were still scoring really high. He was so sure that they weren't going to win. He was like, yeah, it's going to be so awesome. And then he was like, really had to sit down and consider
Yeah, it wasn't
naked in the street.
It wasn't a high scoring game. They won by a field goal. It was like 20-17 or some shit. Like
Yeah, he was. But as we got closer and closer, like, they weren't that far behind. It was like, it went from naked down the street to, like, maybe I'll run around the backyard without my shirt on. Not the same.
Yeah.
He still owed me that.
That fears.
So
setting
he
in.
didn't do it.
No.
What a pussy.
He wouldn't even swim without a shirt on, hardly.
That's true.
You kidding me? Life
But,
with man tits.
Yeah. Well, you know, but he didn't have a problem wearing the cut off shirt, the cut sleeve shirts.
That was later in life.
Yeah.
He gave up. At that point, like the rest of us do, where we just don't give a fuck anymore. None of us give a fuck anymore.
Okay.
We're past that point.
He was. Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
That's fine.
I don't even care.
Yep. So, anyways, so the rest of the letter is, what am I supposed to do? Should I tell my mother? Well, first and foremost, I'm going to answer that last part. Should I tell my mother? Why? They're divorced. The father and the mother are divorced.
Yeah, but it.
Well,
Wait.
wait.
No.
He did say stepmother. He said mother.
He said his stepfather who just married my mother 2 years ago.
So he's sexually.
So his mother is still
okay.
is
married.
still married to this
Sorry,
guy.
my fault.
So the mother is still married to this guy.
Should I tell my mother?
Yes. But collect photos and maybe audio stuff first. And do it at a family dinner when everyone's there.
Even better, slideshow.
I do like a good slideshow. I'm like, hey, I found some old photos from my childhood. Family Christmas. Oh, stepfather's penis.
PowerPoint. With a laser pointer.
If you can see right here where it
And-
goes
and
into
one of
her
those-
vagina.
And one of those mice, the handheld mice that you can control the PowerPoint with.
But I'm evil. I mean, I'm sure he's probably thinking that he doesn't want to cause issues or maybe mother not believe him or something. But
So let's look back at the past year.
this is not.
This is Christmas. This is my father fucking my wife.
Yes, stepfather.
Stepfather.
So he's not technically blood related to this dude, which is a big component. So I mean, I guess
This is
she
4th
could
of July.
technically do the father too, but this is stepfather.
the guy
It's like once
comes in
removed.
and fucks your mom, and then he's also going to come in and fuck your wife.
Oh, by pass through, it's like you have your mom's vagina juice
Damn,
on you.
dude, that guy's just laying his dick on everything this guy, quote unquote, owns. Right?
Yeah,
Everything of his.
He's making a statement. This is
Right.
mine.
Yeah,
all
soon
these
it's gonna
things here.
be. He's gonna wake up one in the middle of the night, and there's gonna be a fucking penis on his forehead.
I'm pretty sure the guy, the
Probably
stepfather's
already is.
peed around all the corners of his yard
Yeah.
too. That's, yeah,
laying his pipe.
Okay,
his life
so-
is a big giant hydrant.
Yeah, just laying his pipe on like the fucking
Mine.
Yeah.
I think
the beer.
There's a certain aspect of it where
TV,
I think the
remote.
family piece is removed because it is a stepfather to some degree. I don't know, in my personal opinion. It's like that makes it just like the once removed type thing.
This isn't even a long sentence. It's not like he went into this whole thing where, I divorced my wife and this and that. It's like, what am I supposed to do?
Like, well,
It's in two.
well,
I mean,
first and foremost,
your wife is cheating on you.
you fucking bitch slap your stepfather unless his dick is going to fucking take care of that.
and he's only been in the picture for 2 years, man.
And,
fuck that guy.
And yeah, you got an issue if you know that your wife has been having a sexual relationship with your stepdad and you don't know what to do.
Don't know what to tell you.
You got self-esteem and confidence problems already, buddy.
Because you need to get rid of the chick. First and foremost,
Dude, he by proxy
has fucked his mom.
is connected to his mom, yeah.
Maybe he was already fucking his mom.
Oh, I read
That's
stories.
called an addendum.
That's the P.S.
That's the Let's put a pin in that one.
P.S. My mother is also cheating on me with my stepfather. I'm my own
He's taking
grandpa.
everything.
They
I had a great relationship with my mom, and then he came along.
and stole her away.
We were having threesomes every night. Now he's fucking both my wife and my mama.
What am I supposed to do? Yeah, one step removed. Doesn't matter who she's screwing. Your wife is screwing somebody else.
Keep your head straight and fucking get your ducks in a row. That's what I say.
And somebody who's supposed to be your stepfather.
Kick that bitch out the window.
Or we can look at this from another aspect. If you're a son and someone's cheating on your mom, that guy's immediately a dick.
Yeah.
So
he's out of the circle.
that guy's all kinds of messed up right now.
Yeah.
I think that guy's got you out for you. I think the only logical step is to have the stepfather killed.
No, he's having his cake and eating her too.
Having his Kate. Having his Kate and eating her too.
Sure.
Woo.
Play on words.
Look at Mike going for it there. Yeah, sorry, dude.
Just like the stepfather.
Looks like you and your mom are living together again because ain't nobody else going to be around.
Okay, so that goes right into our fetish of the day, which is having sexual relationships with in-laws.
Ew.
Unless you've already had that brotherly or sisterly bond with them, I say fucking go ahead.
I'm just picturing.
Wait.
So I've had a lot of sets of in-laws, and I'm trying to picture that in my head, and I can't think of one of them that I'd want to see naked. Very, very gross.
Okay, is that because you have an emotional connection to them, or because they're just not attractive at all?
I can think of a few that you should see naked, but I'm not mentioning names or.
Dude,
people.
there's my ex-wife. Her cousin was fucking hot, and she wasn't white trash. She was a human Pez dispenser, but she was not white trash.
Or still is.
Probably still is.
Well, okay, so I guess I'm thinking in-laws. I'm thinking the parent in-laws.
No, I was thinking.
Like somebody's brother.
Not brother.
Oh, okay. Well, that might be different. See, I was just thinking about the parents, and I'm like, ew.
I'm trying to keep families out of this.
Oh, okay.
Oh, see, with
Got it.
in-laws, I'm going lateral. I'm not going.
All I have to say is that wouldn't be bad.
I think that adds a little taboo, a little spice to life.
Personally, I've had a couple of very hot sister-in-laws.
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't want to see them nakedness. Actually, I guess I've seen at least one of them naked before, but that didn't do it for me because I ain't a lesbo.
Yeah, but that's okay.
You're like, could you just tell me in detail?
Yeah,
draw me a sketch, Heather.
Yeah.
Exactly what that looks like.
until you've tried?
Throw me a bone.
Anything
Or
here.
can I throw her a bone? One or the other.
It's one or the other. Yeah, I think those two were especially hot commodities. So I think they're probably going to line out the door for those ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
they're fucking stunning. They're beautiful.
they very, very, very good looking ladies. Still are too. Even though they're both younger than me, bastards. So but as far as dudes go,
I'm single, by the way.
yeah.
So am I.
Both of them are married now.
Aw,
Both of them
damn
are
it.
married now.
What's that guy doing with me?
It's temporary.
It can all be temporary, Heather. As
Love
you
is
know.
fleeting.
There's not
Just wait 7 years.
Yeah.
one of my in-laws. Even like people that I've considered. I'm trying to think of not people I dated. I'm going through a Rolodex right now. Okay, there was probably
A bang it
maybe Like I don't know. I guess maybe if there was something else going on or some interest, like
Roll
I've
around the
enjoyed
decks.
those people enough as in-laws.
Rolling
but
the
like,
head decks.
yeah, I can't really think of anybody out of the gate. I just think that's kind of just mixing the family thing. So let's just say then something. Okay, so you
I think
have
that's
sexual
fun.
intercourse with
That
the
sounds fun.
in-laws, and then you break up in your relationship. You can't go to Christmas. Your ex is there.
Maybe you can.
I look, as long as it's not violent, it wasn't a violent relationship and shit like that, and it didn't end on horrendous terms. I say, you know what? Be a fucking adult. Both of y'all be mature and just keep going to the family functions. Just realize that shit didn't work out, and let's have some pie.
Woo!
And then some.
Yeah.
And more pie.
And turkey.
Let's have another cup of coffee. Let's have another slice
so
of
this
pie.
is actually, is this a fetish? This is like an incest fetish, but different.
Yeah.
Because it's not blood
Oh,
related,
it's right.
so
It
it's
is
not
fetish
incest.
of the day, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't thinking on fetish terms. I was just thinking of circumstances or
No,
whatever.
it's
a fetish.
This is a fetish. In-laws or Fauxcest or whatever you want to call it.
But it's not incest. It's something else because they're not blood related.
It's in lawcest.
Yeah. And
It's outcest.
kick them.
It's not incest. It's outcest.
Okay, so someone that actually gets off on purposely banging in-laws.
Well,
Family members.
That's a
people.
fetish. That would be a fetish.
It's family members, but they're not related. So
Yeah, so
So it's gotta be
stepsister,
somebody who's
stepfather.
Yeah,
It's got to be somebody who's into incest in a way.
but doesn't want to step over that barrier.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's like flirting with it.
Right.
It's
Okay.
like it's kinky enough that it gets you to that incest point without
Yeah.
actually committing a
Keep
terrible
saying you're
blood
my
crime.
sister. Keep saying it.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's
Call
what
me
I'm thinking.
daddy.
Yeah, it's got to be something along those lines. Okay, I can safely say that I'm not aware that I've had any instances of that. I don't know anyone who has said to me they've been interested in
I
that.
don't mind watching that porn stuff, the stepbrother, stepsister, but I don't have any.
But when I'm watching it, I don't connect that that's who they are.
I don't have any urges.
I love scenario shit, man. Scenario shit's awesome.
I know, but I don't.
Yeah, but
I
you
don't,
watch porn for the storyline, so you don't count.
I don't. When I've watched that, I've never really connected. In fact, I've had it like it's like goes to the next video or whatever, and you're watching it, and they say something, you're like, what? Wait, what? And then you have to pause it, and see what it is, and you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like
Right.
I get why they said that. Okay, carry on.
Yeah.
That's press on.
Fast forward to the sex.
I don't know if I've mentioned it on here before, but one time I bought this 3-pack of
Butt plugs?
sexy
Magnums.
3 bumps for your rump, 3 storybooks, like erotic storybooks or
Did you
sex
give this
storybooks.
out to 2030 one year?
I did.
Gray was a gray.
So it was a pack and it was like
Gray's all
3.
gray, yeah.
So it used to be that you could,
Gray's sex almanac?
and this may
Gray-
still be.
Gray's-
I haven't
yeah,
been in one of
Gray's
these shops in
Anatomy.
a while because
Kama Sutra.
internet. Hello, internet, where you can buy them, and sometimes they would put like 2 or 3 magazines in like one plastic bag together, and they
Yep.
put like $9.99 on it or whatever. Or you get 3
Guilty
of
of
them.
buying those.
Right? Hello, me too.
Never
And,
buy porn when you're horny. That's the biggest mistake you'll make.
That's
You
not
all
spend-
of it
true.
looks
You
fine.
pay way too much money.
And you're like jugs and cherry, and then you get home and there's like fat bitches in the center. That's
They hide the they hide the the
Mature porn.
Cleveland Steamer
Yes.
Quarterly.
so what I bought was this 3-pack of books, and it was like erotic stories on one side
Golden
and
Showerly.
like Penthouse, what do they call it?
Forum.
Penthouse Forum on the other side, and there was a 3rd book in the middle, and you can't really see what it is. It's not a big deal. I get it home, I tear it open. The middle book was all stories about incest.
Did you wash your hands first because you're ready to party?
No, I was like, what the fuck? What? Like, who just throws this in the middle of it? Like a 3-pack
It's
of
going to
books.
be a DJ battle with a lot of scratching.
So because it's me, like I carried that thing for around for 10 years. It moved probably 5 or 6 times with me. It was in the box under the bed with a bunch of shit.
I'm
You
quite
sure-
aware of the incest magazine.
Yes.
Hey, if your
It's-
son is like my son, does he go through a lot of stuff? Like he gets nosy and starts going through boxes and everything?
No, my children don't do that. They may
Oh,
have
you're
already
lucky.
learned a lesson. I don't know, but they don't tend to do that.
Only if it was out in the garage.
Okay, because that's my son.
Then it's free reign.
That it is free reign. It's out in the garage. None of my shit's been out in the garage. So I've had this book and I carried it around forever. And every once I pull up and I'm like, this really can't be. And you read like half a story and you're like, yep, that's exactly what it is. You close it back up, you put it right back under the bed again. So I used to make raffle prizes for various clubs and events and stuff like that. And I make like the worst fucking raffle prizes ever. So
on purpose.
I've gone through and I've cleaned out so much of my personal stash of weird crap that I've owned just in doing raffles. And one time, totally off on the same subject though, is I went to a yard sale and there was like a cardboard box of really shitty pocket knives with like wolves and birds and eagles, and stuff on them, like really crappy. And I was like, how much for this box of knives? And one year everybody got a shitty pocket knife with their raffle prize. But one year I finally pulled this book out and I put it together with
you a clamper?
Close. Put it with a thing of like Thunderbird and a big jug of hand sanitizer, and that was the raffle prize, and that was pretty awesome.
I believe that was at what's his name's house.
Yes, yeah, likely it was. It was a big hit.
Yeah, he who shall not be named.
Yeah, it was a big hit.
Because I was at that party.
Well, see, there you go. You got
That's
to
why
witness
I remember
that.
It, yeah.
And one time, I actually wrapped someone's Christmas present in entirely cutouts from one of the cheesy porn magazines, like cut out like different pictures from it, and then like glue sticked them all together and wrapped a present in it. So I mean, they have many uses, like decoupage, but with porn.
Well, and also, I mean, for most porno mags, the glue's already been added.
Sometimes, it's hard to get those pictures apart. You can just stick it right down in there. You don't even need the extra schmooge, the Mod Podge or whatever it is you put on top.
Yeah, Mod Podge.
I'm not a crafter by any means. So there's actually incest books that I personally have witnessed that are there. It's not just shit you can find on the internet.
Yeah. My uncle, dude. My uncle used to read those family porn books. And no pictures, just fucking stories of uncles and nieces and all that shit. And I'm like, okay.
And then I read about it online sometime that they actually find like incest clans and the hollers and stuff like that. It's like awesome. Huh. There's actually
incest
something behind that. Interesting. So it is a total fetish, but I don't know if that's necessarily. It's got to be some sort of incest, but it's not lumped with incest. I guess I don't know.
It's an incest fetish, but it's not incest because it's
not cest.
Yeah, it's brother sister, but it's stepbrother stepsister.
Or in-laws. This is in-laws.
Or Fauxcest.
Yeah, so then you don't have to feel morally guilty afterwards. You don't have to feel that shame
because they're blood related.
If you want to feel that shame,
the societal man, right? It's societal pressures.
Whatever you believe.
Whatever you want to believe. I mean,
some people do, some people don't. I'm just saying.
Let's say
you tell me why
Adam and Eve had 2 sons.
You tell me why
you
they're
add the rest of it up.
You tell me why they're willing to go all the way to the precipice and not fucking jump over.
Not blood.
Yeah, they don't care.
If they cared, they'd be fucking the relative. The actual.
There's
blood
a
relative.
lot of people that do that.
Oh yeah, probably right.
Probably more than we know. It's probably well hidden.
I mean, it's so ingrained in culture now that it's a storyline on Big Bang Theory.
Incest?
Yeah, because Howard slept with his cousin.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's different. You can marry your cousin in California.
Yeah, but still, he still slept with his cousin.
Yeah, there's a little bit of genetic comparativeness there. I did
see that show. I did see that one episode. Yeah.
And it crops up from time to time.
It does.
So
she pops up as somebody's date.
So
that just happened. All right, what are we hitting next with your in-laws?
Okay, so dating advice. Single mom dating. Since we're on the whole stepfather, stepmother.
What do you want to know about single mom dating?
Okay.
No time for bullshit.
So,
yeah.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
I wish people at home could see me right now doing the think face.
What is your biggest pet peeve when it comes to when you were single?
Mm-hmm.
Or even
what
if
you mean with other people?
Even if you're dating now somebody other than Ryan.
Okay.
In all my spare time. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So what is your single biggest pet peeve when it comes to you being a single mom and dating?
With just in general, with other people?
Both.
I think my biggest issue with it was people who didn't have kids, and this I should quantify is how you can tell that I really love my husband is I had made a rule that I didn't want to date anybody else that had kids. Either they're assholes or I'd get too attached. Like there was no in between.
So you're saying that you didn't want to date other men that had children.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, I didn't even care how old they were. Like, they're hella old and the children are gone. That's fine. But I didn't want to deal with any more kids necessarily. But my biggest pet peeve, I think, I found quickly is people that did not have kids or had never had children didn't understand my unavailability. So, like, I would start talking to somebody and they'd say, hey, can we go to dinner? And I'd be like, okay, I'm free next Thursday.
Right.
Oh, what do you mean next Thursday? I'm available next Thursday. Well, can we meet before then? No. Why not? Well, I have my kids. I've got a work meeting. I've got this already planned.
Yeah,
it's a week out. I have next Thursday.
Right.
I can meet you next Thursday after 5. And that was a big fucking problem. Like, I had one guy really up my ass about it. Like, oh, so you're on a dating app, but you're not available to meet up. I'm like, I got a fucking life here, people.
Side note, every time she showed up on the dating app, I'd swipe right on her and then send her a message. Ha ha.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever swiped. I don't think I ever saw you.
Whoop,
Never
whoop,
popped
whoop,
up.
whoop, whoop.
He's trying to test his fetish capability.
Test the fetish.
It wasn't just you. There was a couple people that were
That you'd
friends.
seen. It never popped up on my. Of
That
course,
happened to
I
me
wasn't on
once.
him for very long.
I came across a coworker's daughter,
oh.
and she was on there, and I sent her for her daughter a message. I said, forgive me if I'm wrong, but aren't you so-and-so's daughter who works at such and such? And she blocked me. So I went to my coworker and I said to her, I
wasn't trying to be creepy.
I think I saw your daughter on Plenty of Fish, and she goes, no fucking way, because she tells me everything and she's not on there. And I showed her a fucking picture on there and everything. She goes, that fucking bitch.
So it was her. So you got your
Yeah, it
question
was
answered. Okay.
because also it said she worked in the car business and all this stuff. So I was like, oh yeah,
So what not to do when you see somebody, like I've seen you multiple times, Heather, on an app.
Okay.
Before you were married.
I don't.
No.
I don't know. Does it delete? I deleted all my stuff. Like, I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
It was before. So
I was gonna say, go on the other one and check for Ryan.
Well, here's the thing.
Because he was on like a whole bunch of those fuckers.
I knew when you were having problems in your relationships when I would see you, and I'd be like, "Swipe right." What the fuck?
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what happens. Ha ha.
Ha ha. Just keep going.
I think I didn't run into you, so evidently your picture didn't roll up on whatever it was. But then again, I wasn't on there for very long. So, but I guess my biggest thing is that I think people were just, and I don't know, I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, I have a job. I have night meetings. I have a career. I have kids. I've got family. I've got shit going on. So, like, I didn't have time to just, usually with me, as you know from scheduling and trying to record, is like, I get like, okay, I have these 2 days, and that's it.
You also have a pocket knife collection.
I did have a pocket knife collection. I gave them all away in raffles. But I think that was probably my biggest pet peeve. The second pet peeve that I had is this was even before online dating days, is I was dating a guy. I think I'd went out with him like twice, and he had a swimming pool or something, and he's like, oh, and he's like, blah, blah, and he was just super casual. He was very, I 100% know he meant well, but he was like, oh yeah, you can come over. In fact, bring it. It was before I had Gus even, and you can bring your son over too. And I was like, yeah, I'm not introducing my kid to you. Like,
some people don't mind.
They don't. And he had a kid too, but his kid was much older. I just don't think it was something that was in his. It wasn't a thought process. It was just like, well, I dig you. You bring a kid.
Accommodating. Yeah, he was just.
I don't think it was like, we're not going to make out in front of your kid or anything. But to me, I'm so weird about it. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to introduce you to my kid.
That's not weird because many women that I've talked to, they've all said the same thing. I'm not introducing you to my kids until I'm ready.
Right. I mean,
until I know this is going somewhere.
Right. I just don't think that there's a reason to do that. So I think that would probably be my second. The third pet peeve, really, in being a single mom dating, was my fucking kids. Because I don't know if you noticed or not, but they take up a whole lot of time. Really put a bump in the road in your single life. Mm-hmm. But we managed to work that out somehow. It was just basically like once I didn't have my kids, like I was okay to date and go out and party. And the nights that I had my kids, those were just reserved for my kids. Didn't do anything else, which is kind of exactly what I do now, which is why I don't have time for the gym.
Right.
So I tell myself.
So you tell yourself, because you said you don't want to work out.
I hate working out. Although I've started, I hate working out.
I'll tell you what, the more you do it, the easier it gets. And it's true.
That's what they say about anal.
No, the more you do that, the looser it gets.
Oh. That too.
That just helped me with the second show. Thank you.
Oh God, he's already writing down ideas for something else now. So I would say those are my
well,
biggest
we
pet
do
peeves. Okay, so this one guy, and I might have mentioned this before, and I didn't understand this because I had not spent a lot of time on online dating, but I had this one guy, and he was older. He was an old man, because I just put like my age restrictions, like I don't even give a shit, just and he kept hounding me about like, how long ago was this picture taken? How long ago was this picture taken?
Oh, Jesus.
Send me a current picture. You know, what's this?
I mean,
what's
he
that?
bangs escorts and
I'm like,
prostitutes.
what? Like, I could understand. And so, like, I gave him information. I sent him pictures, like, because it's just me. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I think he was just, like, super paranoid that I was going to be, like, really fat. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, I'm not the thinnest. I was thinner then, but, I mean, I'm not the thinnest. But it was like, okay. Like, he was super freaked out about it. That was a pet peeve for me, too. I ain't got that kind of fucking time. Like, do you want to talk? Do you want to meet up? Great. I'll pencil you in 2 weeks from Sunday. Other than that, you know, just see it in real life. He didn't even have to buy me dinner. I would have paid for my own fucking dinner or drinks. I just, you know, was thinking it was a good time to meet up with somebody, but evidently I didn't need his ego ass.
Yeah, apparently. Fuck them.
Instead, I got together with somebody whose pictures were 7 years old.
You have hair in these pictures.
I know.
Why don't you have hair now?
I've been bamboozled.
Bamboozled.
This will not stand.
How dare you, sir? Also, you smoke cigars.
Smoke cigarettes.
Fucking
so terrible.
jerk.
Oh, my God. It's still so funny. Every once in a while I come across an old picture of my husband and I go, oh, hey, this is also one that you used on your Tinder profile. And he's like, yeah. But, you know, cast a wide enough net. Of course, I will say that he never asked me for recent pictures. I think he knew deep down in his heart of hearts that he should not do that, because that would backfire on him. Also, he probably did not give a shit.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I don't even care if you're 400 pounds. Don't give a fuck. Like, don't care. You looked good here. I'll just hold the picture up while I do you. It'll be fine.
Just bend over.
Just bend over. I can't even. Just put the. There you go. That's good. You're jiggling my phone. Stop talking. You're ruining my moment.
Hey, that'll add steps to your counter on your phone there, on your Fitbit.
Will it?
Yeah, the bouncing up and down. Yeah, it'll.
Tape it to my head next time.
Yeah, because if I hold my phone and I shake it a certain way, it records the steps.
Thank God, because I got some Pokemon Go eggs I need to hatch.
Well, that goes off of GPS.
And then my husband will be like, why do you want to do it so much? I got eggs to hatch. But I'm not a nerd.
Just as long as they're not in the real world, honey.
It's my alien eggs.
No more kids.
Oh, God, no. Remember, I'm fixed.
Are you?
Yeah. Yeah, I've had that. The inside of my uterus probably looks like the surface of Mordor.
Damn.
That's my guess. Michael's thinking about it right now because I had it fried. I had what's called an ablation.
Looks like Jupiter.
It's actually been
that
electrified.
Is a scary sounding word.
It has a big red spot on it, like it's a fucking storm of false storms.
Yes.
Just destroying
destroying everything.
You have the Eye of Sauron in your crotch?
Yes.
Inner uterus.
Actually, that's why I call my vagina.
The Eye of Sauron.
I mean, it kind of looks like it if you think about it.
It's angry and red.
That's some bad cervix.
Every time something unpleasant happens, the gaze moves over to it. I've told people that before, and they're just like, "Oh my God!" But I don't think they've actually seen Lord of the Rings, so I don't know if they know what that really is. But yeah, that's in addition to having my tubes tied, I had. From what I understand, the ablation is they take. This is what the doctor told me. They take
that word is
take like a
scaring me.
mesh, and they take the mesh and they very carefully put it
intrauterine mesh.
So it goes all over in the lining of the uterus. So it's like it just goes in, and then they
it's like soundproofing.
Paste it up, and then they burn it. They like hit the button, and it just fucking burns the inside of your uterus.
So they electric fence your fucking.
They basically solder my uterine lining.
We're still in medieval fucking times, man.
Soldering.
I said
soldering things together.
Just shove a fucking hot iron up your asshole. I'm just...
you should. It sounds like you have ghosts in your blood. You should do cocaine about it.
More, please.
So what I told the doctor was, hey, can you do me a solid? And after you do that, pull it out, turn it quarter turn, shove it back in, and do it one more time, just to make sure we're good. And I think he did, because it was a really great job. 10 out of 10. Would recommend the ablation.
The ablation.
Recommend the ablation.
Can't really do an ablation.
So, does setting the inside of your uterus on fire, does that make you more susceptible to cancer or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it just basically burned everything. So if there were cancerous cells...
Just like throwing napalm in
Yeah,
there.
I was going to say that. God damn it. Fucking napalmed your ass. That's
it
good.
sticks and it burns.
So they just had your just fucking legs sides split and then your crotch up in the air and then they just dropped it in. Pew!
Let's put it this way. So if you had any precancerous cells, they've been burned off.
Okay.
Because pieces of skin actually come out because you heal a burn from the inside out then essentially. But
God damn.
what it essentially does is should an egg get through, let's just say they didn't tie the knot
then it
good
deserves to fucking exist. I'll tell you that.
Let's just say
that's the next fucking world leader.
it's I don't know, my children are the devils. So if an egg got through, I'm what's considered inhospitable for eggs to attach.
Yeah.
So basically my uterus now matches the rest of me. Inhospitable.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's
Sorry,
what an ablation is. What are you trying to look up? Ablations?
Nothing.
What are you doing over there? He's like, I'm tired of talking about your uterus.
I have to...
Future reference stuff.
Future reference.
I have to...
Uterus.
Get
So
it
those were
second.
my pet peeves. Back to dating single mothers.
Sorry,
Those were my pet peeves.
I was working on the next episode while you were talking,
Great. So
which was pretty easy. I just had to find a Dear Miss Heather.
Here's the thing. I think that other people, though, if you took it from the flip side, from the guy's end of things, I hear a lot of complaints in the opposite direction. Like, I hear bitches got kids and they want me to fucking take them out. Like, she's introducing me to her kids on, like, the first date. She brought me home to her house and told me her kids were there. Weird shit. Awkward breakfast.
Yeah, it's I think that's because she's
Looking for the next daddy?
yeah, baby daddy, next to security, right?
I was not. My children have good dads. They're good. They're solid.
Yeah.
They're solid there. Don't need any of that. Don't need that at all. And
Well, yeah. Why also introduce another person into your kid's life that might not be there for very long?
exactly. Nope. And I think and my husband had his own children, so I think, and actually he was the only one that really didn't give me shit about when I could meet up. He also had a busy schedule.
Yeah.
He also had weird working hours.
Let your kids have a few bowls of cereals with the guy before they start hearing his weird moans come from the bedroom.
Yeah, that's probably, maybe take them out for pizza
I had a friend.
and an ice cream.
I had a friend who, I guess, he wasn't picky when it came to women, whether they were married or not. You know,
Yeah.
it just is what it is, right?
Yeah,
And
I got a buddy like that.
Love is love.
well, no,
Just
it's not
sex is
love.
sex.
Sex is sex.
A hole is a hole.
Yeah, and
Hey, anyone
especially if
could-
they were good-looking women, it wasn't even that big of a deal. So he ends up going home with this woman, and they have sexy time and whatever else. So he gets up, he's walking through the house naked, and her son is sitting on the couch. As he comes out, his dick is swinging along, right?
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" Just goes right into the refrigerator. Fucking opens the door, grabs whatever beer or whatever, goes back, closes it. I don't know he never told me what the dude on the couch was. I'm like, what was his look on his face
He's like, I don't know, wasn't my
when
problem.
you come
Oh,
fucking
must be
swinging
fucking
around?
Tuesday.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I
probably.
said. Oh,
Yeah, mom's got a friend over.
Date night.
yeah.
Although the one exception that I did do is, but I mean, to be fair, I ended up marrying him. But
Must be the second date.
my current husband, because we were having such a hard time meshing schedules, and he did
And
work,
vaginas.
and vaginas. His vagina is very hard to reach.
Scissor.
So he would get off work very late, and so there were times that I basically, quote unquote, snuck him in to my own home. It was my fucking house. It's my house.
Sneaking him into
but
your
I
own
would sneak
house.
him in. Like, the kids would go to bed, and I'd wait until they were really asleep, and I'd be like, okay, they're asleep. And
He's
he'd
throwing
come in.
rocks at the window.
He would come in,
Tink,
and then I would shut and lock the door, but he had to stay in there
Yeah.
until I left with him the next
then
morning.
pee in a
then
2-liter
he
bottle?
could get up. Then he got to get up. I have a bathroom back there, but it was like, so I would like have to get
It
ready
didn't
really
have
quick.
another door, right? Hopefully the bathroom didn't have 2 doors.
He's fucking climbing up the vine trellis.
Yeah. Oh, wrong window.
Hiding from the 6-year-old.
John Belushi from Animal House. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
It's totally what it probably was like. But it was like, that was like the only, like, it was so hard for our schedules to mesh that it was like, it was impossible to get him over there. And I hadn't introduced him to the kids yet. So it was like, you can sneak in.
Yeah.
But you
then
can't
I had
sneak out.
But I had to get up really early and get ready so that like I was totally not needing to go back in my room when the kids were getting ready. And then I would just leave. And then he could get up.
I don't see a problem with that. I don't. Look, especially you're taking care of your shit. You're taking care of your kids. You're allowed to have some fun. Okay?
Agreed.
You're allowed to. And guess what? In the long run, if you're getting some, you're going to be a happier person, which means you're going to probably end up being a better mom.
Or I could have got crabs.
No, not necessarily. Just because you're getting some doesn't mean you're going to be happy. You could be angry. You can be angry sex person.
Angry sex person. Sounds like a character on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, just
Angry sex person.
Just wake up the next
Look,
day.
if you're
Get out of my way!
Yeah, if you're fucking angry after sex, you've got problems.
I think I was just tired all the time because he would get to my house super late because of his schedule, and I was exhausted. Because I go to bed at like 9 normally. Like I stay up late to do this, but I go to bed at 9
I can't.
normally.
Yeah, I can't.
She's past her bedtime.
I
Yeah.
can't go to bed before fucking 12:30.
If you guys wonder why I look like
Okay.
I'm nodding off, it's because I am.
I can't go to bed before 4:45 in the morning.
Oh, Jesus.
Is that why I got a
fucking
text
Christ.
from you at 2 something?
Yes, likely.
God damn.
No, I've been having problems this week sleeping. I don't know if it's anxiety or what, but like I sleep like 2 hours a night.
Yeah.
And then I'm up.
Ooh.
And then you can go back to sleep.
And then I try to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And then I'll just lie in bed for like 3 hours.
That happens to me sometimes when like
Then
I'm
I
off
wake up
work
at
for
12
a
o'clock.
period of time.
Yeah,
like
I
I have my schedule off and I don't have a schedule.
Ever since I've changed my diet, I can only do like 6 hours at the most, and then I wake up, and then I try to fall back to sleep, and I can't.
That seems to be pretty normal for people that are on like a health thing with exercise, because your metabolism and everything else that's going on. A lot of people that I know sleep 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, because even like if I have that my day off and I get to sleep in, I still end up I'll wake up 5-6 hours into it, and I'm just like, fuck.
That's why you're like, what time do I usually wake up if I sleep in? 9 o'clock? I'll go to bed at 4.
We'll see. Most days, my alarms start going off at like 4:50 or 5:15. So, like, I gotta be to bed typically. So
Yeah, definitely. Oh God, I mean, I got to get up at 6. I should be getting up at 6:15 every morning. I end up doing 6:25, 6:30.
No, I'm not saying that I don't snooze.
I have to be at work at 6:45 though.
This morning was a decent morning. I think I was up at like 5:20 and got my coffee and took a shower and then got the kids up and did all that. But
I'll take a shower another day. Snooze. Yeah.
yeah, that happens more often than not.
I'll wipe my ass at lunchtime.
That would
snooze.
be like the other podcasts where I've shown up and said, I wore these pants to bed last night.
I do the same thing. Like, showering every day is bad for you, anyways.
Whatever you got to tell yourself.
No,
makes
it
yourself
is.
feel good.
A rinse off is fine. A rinse off's different than a
showering for you is bad.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Dude,
Every day, it's bad for your skin.
Soaping, the soap
Dude.
and shit. Yeah.
I know.
You're gonna argue with the person
No.
that
It has bad skin. No, I
that
know.
knows more about this shit than anything.
Just like
I
with
know
shampoo on your
because
hair.
And
I-
shampoos.
I only wash my hair once a week.
My ex had a niece that was very sensitive skin when she was little, and the doctor said, bath every other day, soap every other bath.
Right.
So she was getting soap like when she was little, like every 4 or 5 days.
It's the whole. Not to get too deep into it, but it's the whole idea. It's like
The Western culture thing.
Yeah, but it's the whole.
My kids' ass
Breakfast?
stink though.
Yeah, but breakfast is the most important meal of the day thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're doing like heavy weightlifting and whatnot,
Maybe.
like getting into the shower and showering off, not using soap, and just
We're getting a rinse on.
Yeah.
or
get the
work at a
rinse on.
sewage treatment plant.
yeah.
Yeah, you do need a decon on that.
Yeah, and so rinsing off, not a bad deal, but full on shower, like
Yeah.
soap and whatever else, and wash your hair, not good for you every day.
Yeah.
It fucks
Some
you
people
up.
do need it.
Some people need to be fucking dipped in lye too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah. My 8-year-old actually smells like a very angry cab driver.
My son, when he was 13, he's
It
14 now.
It smells like Joe's ride from last week.
When he hit fucking puberty, he had
He's
a whole
already
year
80.
where
he smells so
he
bad.
had a whole year where he stunk like the worst BO ever, and finally it's gone now, thank God. But
Sometimes
it was
they just got to work
Take
it
a
out.
fucking shower.
oh,
Yeah,
he,
but
and, dude, he would even stink after he got out of the shower. He would take like a fucking 2-hour shower because
And he's not washing right.
because he was, but he'd get out of the
That's all
fucking shower.
clean penis.
And like you could, I mean, you could smell the soap on him. You could smell that he washed himself, but he fucking it's from his pits and shit. It's still the odor.
Does he put it on deodorant?
Yeah, I bought him deodorant. It kind of helped, and well, now he's fine. Now he's good.
maybe-
just had to work.
I think
his
it just-
body was regulated.
yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
Poor
hormones.
dude.
I know.
He had to have a stinky year. That was my stinky year.
Yeah.
He's sweating garlic.
I mean, I had like a couple of years where I had really bad hair, but I didn't
I don't know
smell.
what's wrong with your son, but he's sweating fucking pure curry. Indian restaurants are hiring him to
Smells
come
like-
in and refill their curry losses.
Give us your sweat naps.
Smells like Bigfoot shitting Indian food.
Smells like Bigfoot. Yeah,
Got hair wads in it.
yeah. Wrapped in hair and burnt bacon.
Poor kids. Yeah, an 8-year-old shouldn't have to be reminded to put on his deodorant. He wears it every morning. He's a good boy. He puts it on himself. He's got a whole routine.
Right guard and left guard.
Yeah, both the guards.
Is it a spray or is it a roll?
No,
Oh,
it's rub on. It's the Old Spice on a young man.
Yeah.
Old Spice.
Yep.
Old Spice on a young man. Yeah, he's got it down pat. So I mean, there is the stinky going on. Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Poor dude.
I can't do the high parts though.
I know it's my son can. He can whistle like a fucking. I think he could become a musician. He can hit notes and shit. He's good.
There we go.
It's close.
Du-du-du-du-du-du-du. Brute by Fabergé. What a cheap
Lord.
motherfucker.
You know what I miss, but don't really miss?
No.
Aqua Velva.
Ooh, the Aqua Velva man.
I just want to get a whiff of it just to get the nostalgic sense of it and then be gone from it again.
Aqua Velva was never that bad. It was the people that put it on that doused themselves.
Drown them
It's
like
fucking
like Jacquard Noir.
Exactly. You know where I was going.
Dude, it
I
is
love
so
Jacquard.
true. Every
Jacquard.
time I have a fucking Eastern
Cologne of the
Eastern
90s.
like a Eastern European guy get in the fucking van when I'm driving at my job, dude, he always it's just drowning in that shit. It's like what?
Oh man, I haven't.
I mean, is
haven't
that
worn the sweatsuit.
I understand that it's like cultural.
Now that you have smelled all of our colognes, what'll it be?
I will take some Drakkar Noir. How about you? I am disgusting, so I will take 2 bottles Drakkar Noir.
How about you, Chief?
Let me quickly grow beard and think about it. I will take Drakkar Noir.
You know, here's the thing: is I fucking love Drakkar Noir.
Carnival.
It doesn't smell bad in small doses, but when it's
God, I love that stuff.
You know what I learned about cologne is that it's actually better to not, if you're trying to attract the opposite sex or even the same sex, I guess it depends on the person, but it's better to not wear any cologne at all because you're actually covering up your own pheromones that you're supposed to be releasing.
Dude, if it's anything like an 8-year-old's pheromones, I don't want to smell it. Smells bad.
I'm talking about adults and dating, not fucking teenagers.
All I can think of is disgusting BO smell. Like if your armpit
Yeah.
smells like a bean burrito,
Yeah, well that's why you
wear
wear
cologne.
Yeah, wear antiperspirant. You know.
Of course,
or-
I wonder if that's like spraying stuff in the bathroom so it smells like somebody shit in a mountain field. Because that happens at my work
It's
bathroom
pleasant,
a lot.
but yet pungent.
Yeah, that happens in my work bathroom a lot. So someone takes a crap in the women's bathroom and they spray the stuff trying to
I
cover it
can
up.
never.
And it's worse.
Yeah, it is. Like in my bathroom at work, it's you always because it has a sensor in there that every time I don't know, maybe it has a fecal sensor or something, but it sprays
fecal
out.
sensor.
Yeah,
I need the fecal sensor.
Fecal sensor. Here.
All right, this is the
We can
address that
fix
was in
it.
his wallet.
Yeah, but how are we going to know for sure if these are the guys who took Meg?
Well, we have the kidnapper's voice on tape, remember?
Well.
Drakkar Noir.
Shit in a mountain.
dude. I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but one time when I was doing the
God,
ride sharing
why?
thing, I picked up 2 Russian dudes. I took them to a club in downtown Sac, and they were in the car for about 20, 25
Does it
minutes.
smell like Drakkar Noir?
And oh my god, I'm not kidding. My eyes teared up. It was that fucking bad. I there was a couple times where I cracked the window, had to get some fresh air, but it was fucking bad.
How bad was it?
So bad I almost wrecked my goddamn car.
They got in the car and all just fucking it fogged up with curry and
So bad that I could have ended the night with a 1-star rating.
curry and gefilte fish.
Gefelte. Mike's trying to wave you down. He needs more sugar.
Yeah, can you get... It's right there on your left.
Yes.
It's in my bag of sugar.
In water.
Sugar, water.
Your skin's hanging off your bones.
Egger.
Oh.
He's wearing an Egger
Oh,
suit.
yeah. There's that better.
That's actually pretty good.
I've practiced it a few times.
I stepped away from my microphone to dig for booze.
Get Bohemian Rhapsody now on Google Play.
Sure.
God, I love this scene.
Projectile weapon on the ground.
It's like he was wearing a suit.
Sugar. When you pry it from my cold dead water.
Your proposal
What?
is acceptable.
Oh. They fucked up that clip.
Oh, they try to be funny.
We had a server the other day at a restaurant. His name was Eddie, but I guess I kept calling him Edgar.
Egger.
Egger suit.
Yeah, it was Edgar, but it wasn't Edgar. Like he was wearing an Edgar suit.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
God, he's a great actor.
I like it when he got out of the tow truck.
Yeah.
It's the door.
Edgar, what on earth was that?
Sugar.
I've never seen Sugar do that.
Give me sugar.
Whoever...
He's becoming frustrated with the clip that it didn't go
Yeah.
the way it should.
I just want the
Edgar,
basics.
what on earth was that?
Sugar.
I've never seen Sugar do that.
Give me sugar. In water.
In water.
More.
More.
See, they edited that too, but
God
fine.
damn,
whatever.
dude. What, it's like...
Anyway,
you just
so
get a
I had
simple
a
clip.
server that I called Edgar, and I guess that wasn't his name. Then I felt bad, so we had to tip him more.
And this is him walking.
Yeah, what's great about D'Onofrio in that film is that he pulls it off so well as this alien trying to move like a human moves, and I think it's genius.
I wonder how long they worked on that.
I don't know.
I think that's what I want to be for Halloween.
Most of these guys, like Vincent D'Onofrio, when they see what the director is trying to do with the storyboards, and they see the character, or there's a maquette of a character, and they're like, "I'm going to try this. Just let me go with it and see if this works. If it doesn't, well, I have another plan."
Yeah.
And then they go with their first instinct, which is, like voices for cartoon characters. They'll try like multiple voices. Like the voice for Bender was supposed to be the professor.
Oh.
So, when he says, good news, everyone,
Yeah.
that was supposed to be Bender.
That wouldn't have worked.
And that's exact. And then, so.
Yeah, it would have sounded like a cheap ripoff of C-3PO or something.
Yeah. And that's where, and so DiMaggio and Billy got together. Billy West. And DiMaggio said, "Let me try Bender. You do that voice for the professor." And that's how it all came about.
Would you make a mental note somewhere that I would like to dress up like Edgar for
Edgar
Halloween
suit?
one year?
I'm pretty sure you can find it on Amazon.
I think I just need to get a rubber mask of some sort. I can make it look like that if I just wear Carhartt overalls. I think I'm good.
I think there's some performances that people just don't appreciate as much as they should. The part like when he's in the truck and he's like trying to
this
turn
isn't movie
and
review.
adjust. We're not reviewing. We're talking.
This is a movie
This
review.
is a dating fucking thing.
And I'm not dating.
Anyways, go on.
Don't bring up movie. Don't bring up movie shit. man,
Oh
'cause I'm gonna
God!
go.
I brought a.
When
I
he's
brought
I
a-
just when he's just
It's their
adjusting in the seat,
kryptonite.
when he's trying to turn and face out of there, and he's like putting his arm up behind his head, and he's like trying to. And
In just
you can
inside the
see that
Edgar
he's
suit?
in all this fucking pain trying to do this shit, but it's hilarious because he's pulling it off so well. It's funny.
Was there any other dating advice for single moms that I was supposed to give?
Happily ever after.
Oh.
Oh, I'm reading, you guys, from the board here. I guess that's my storyboard.
misconceptions
of dating happily ever after. Misconception of dating happily ever after. Like, just you're dating and you're going to get your happily ever after?
Back to Hollywood. Yeah, fuck you, Hollywood, for making that shit up.
Like you're going to get the...
Trying to go for the happily ever after because,
The Pretty Woman.
every kiss begins with K. He got it at Jerry.
Or the Pretty Woman
guys,
effect,
Okay. You know what?
You know what I'm saying? The
What's your
misconception
dream?
of
I had
happily
to.
ever
Yeah,
after.
what's your dream? Everybody's got a dream. And I'm like, I just had to set my glass down. So
You'll love it
because
at
I have to
Levitt's.
talk with my hands.
It's a great fantasy, but that's
Oh,
what it
it's
is.
fantastic, but I mean that doesn't exist anywhere. I mean that doesn't
We've
even
been
exist.
sold a bill of goods.
You have, because I mean even people who have that are fucking miserable. They're fucking miserable. So one thing I had to learn was I'd look at all these people after my failed marriages, after everything else, and say, how is it that they make this work and I don't? How does this happen? So what I came to realize is that, you know, all those cute little family pictures you see, you pass somebody's house and you look in their windows at night when their lights are on. Maybe that's just me. And you see like, oh, okay, this looks like a really happy family, whatever.
Facebook posts.
Whatever, fucking whatever. Like, you just see them, like, they're out to dinner, and they're miserable. And what you don't know is that guy is having an online relationship with somebody, and she's doing
with a guy
something
named Edgar.
else. Yeah, or she's, like, likes chicks and doesn't know it, or they both, like, argue all the time, or they haven't even talked in 5 days. They're
Yeah.
just out
He's a
pretending that they're
tranny
nice.
chaser.
Yeah, he's really gay or something like there's all this shit under there, or they really hate each other, or they're really having problems, or I don't even know, like they really hate their kid. Like,
He's a
I don't
priest.
know. They've got shit.
He's a priest.
But they act like it's fine. And
Society
so
standards.
now I go out, and when I see like a happy family out at dinner or something like that, that's immediately what I think now. Instead of
bullshit.
thinking like, oh, how did they get to be so happy? And I look over and like we're yelling at our kids, and I'm already annoyed with my
So
husband.
it's a facade.
It's all a facade.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
can
like
see that.
I think that people are just better at hiding that shit than I am. Like, I'm just like, here it is. There everything is.
I
And
think
so
after
that's
that
how I
many
am
marriages,
everywhere I
you just
go.
don't have any more time for bullshit.
I don't.
Let's just get to the point.
I don't.
Yeah.
And it's. I mean, it sounds really good. It's like everybody who, all these bitches that want, like, this, what goes along with this too is the perfect wedding.
Right.
Like, you know, oh,
Yeah,
they're
Bridezilla.
going to have the big wedding, and it's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be beautiful. And
The
they're gonna
7-layered
they
cake.
have,
It's the
like,
princess
here.
thing. It's the whole princess
9
thing.
Pinterest
Yeah.
boards lined up for. Okay, and I'm not saying that I wasn't that person. It's like what I just tell people now when they're bitching about a chick that wants that, or a parent that's like, oh my god, my daughter wants da 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 da. I'm like, look, you're not going to talk them out of it. Like, either they want it or they don't, but you're not going to talk them out of it, because every chick wants to have that day, and it's like the perpetual like party thing.
Because it's pumped in their head since
Well,
they were
it's not
babies.
even that. It's like, I mean, I even like parties where like I could dress up and be like the queen for the day. Like, everybody thinks about like their 30th birthday party or their 40th. Notice it's bigger for chicks too, because they want that day to
I
go do
think
something
it's-
special.
Yeah.
To
I,
be
No,
the
because
center
they're
of
sold.
attention.
They're sold that idea.
I think it's retarded, absolutely retarded, to spend 30...
Stop using that word.
30... I'm be me.
Nar. We prefer nar.
To spend 30 to 100 grand putting yourself into fucking debt for one day.
Right.
Fritarda.
Well, but it doesn't matter.
Because of
it doesn't
flowers
matter.
and a dress.
It
and-
doesn't
and-
matter
and
because you
diamonds.
want to do that. It's not even that. It's like you want to be the center of attention. You want to have this fancy day. You want to have all the things that you like and not have to go to somebody else's bullshit.
Like,
or
if it's
something like that.
your first
You
wedding,
get to pick all the songs that you like and play them, and then you can dance with them with all your friends and family.
But you could do that without having to
hold on.
You really
succumb
can't
to
because-
all those things that they tell you you're supposed to be buying.
Stop.
Even if you have a big party, it's
The
expensive.
first time, your first wedding,
Mm-hmm.
that's acceptable. It's their day. Your 16th birthday, female 16th birthday. That's a coming of age thing.
I didn't have anything good for 16th birthday either.
The first wedding, it's your fucking day. You should be able to do what you
That
want.
was the only give I had.
But we're getting beyond the
It was all
fucking
crap up
happily
to it.
ever after, and we're not talking about this. This has gone beyond talking about happily ever after, and has gone into
Well, let me sew it together.
What the garbage is about this and this and this and this. What's the misconception of happily ever after?
Nobody's ever that happy all the time.
Correct.
And
Being
for
sold
all
a
that
bill
long.
of goods. The bill of goods is the K Jewelers commercials or the Jared commercials, or Zales or what's the Diamond Company.
You don't have to be-
beers.
De
Beers.
Beers.
You don't have to be one of the rich and famous to shop at Charisse.
Yeah. How much?
That's where my ring came from.
How long can 2 months?
Thank you, Sharif Jewelers.
How long can 2 months salary last? That was the Beers thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, De Beers started the 2-month salary rule.
Right.
Yeah.
So 2 months salary. So what would But what do they consider 2 months salary? 10 grand?
Depends on the
Depends
person,
on
I
your
guess.
person's salary. That's your.
No,
I
but
bought a
what was-
$500 ring
That's-
from
That's
fucking
not what I
Crescent
asked.
Jewelers. when
It's
I
probably
bought mine.
that's the
That
minimum
is
they'll
not-
finance.
That is not what I asked. What I asked was, what does the beers consider 2 months of salary? You guys just jumped on the 500 or this or that.
I think the reason they put that is
I don't know, and I don't even care because I'm not going to base off of what they think I should spend.
I'm going to say is they based it on you should buy something that's equivalent to 2 months' salary, and I'm guessing because that's how the financing works. Like you need to make at least X to be able to qualify for in-house financing for X.
$4,000. That's what De Beers considers. If the average U.S. salary is just over $3,000 a month, around $37,000 a year, so therefore $6,000.
Well, that would have been nice.
That's the De Beers myth.
I had that once. But here's the thing: after you've been happily or unhappily ever after a few times, you don't care. You start realizing it doesn't matter about the damn ring. Like I would
being with the fucking person.
I would take my solitaire off to work in the garden, like, and just have a band. The only reason I have diamonds right now is because I got it for free.
I would rather go on a fucking killer vacation.
I'd rather buy a house
than go into a bunch of debt for one day.
Again, happily ever after.
Hey, you brought up the whole fucking De Beers thing, man.
I know, but I asked a question.
Right, but it's sewn together along with that. But originally, what I was going to say is the thing they get it locked in their head and you can't shake it away from them, which is the same thing. Is like they feel like they're going to have this big wedding. And they're going, that is what it's basically like your key to the happily ever after.
People are programmed to believe that this is what you're supposed to do when you get married. You're supposed to buy all these flowers. You're supposed to buy the gigantic cake. You're supposed to do all this shit.
Well, you're supposed to find one person and have happily ever after. And they forget that.
You're right to an extent, but the programming is incorrect.
But why? It's programmed from a young age.
Even somebody that you love more than anything will forget to take the trash out.
Right. It's not programmed.
Somebody that you love more than anything. It's only
programmed, if you want to call it that, when they start thinking about getting married. And it's not really a programming thing. Well, I guess you can call it programming. It's the being told 3 times rule. If you've been told 3 times, it's true, right? Correct? You've heard of that, right?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that rule is...
I guess I'm fat then.
I don't agree with it. I'm stubborn.
If somebody asks you a question, they're buying something. It's generally used in buying. And you tell this person 3 times during that sale about this product, they're going to generally buy it because they believe whatever you're saying is true. Pepsi's good for you. And then I would continue on and be like, yeah, it's still, Pepsi's good for you. It's really, really good for you. And then you just continue on, and Pepsi's really good for you. And then they get that programmed into their head to think Pepsi's good for them.
Just like milk. You're supposed to have milk every day.
Right. So it's kind of programming, but that's programming. But the wedding is not really programming because it's the 1%ers.
It could be generational programming because, think about it from the get-go.
I know women that have never dreamed of that.
Yeah,
who haven't wanted it.
It's the 1%ers that when they're
I was
born,
not part of the 1%ers.
And the parents are marriage, and they're always talking about the perfect wedding day for my daughter and blah blah blah. That's the 1%ers. The rest of the real world, they don't think like that until like it's time to get married.
Tell that to the women on Plenty of Fish.
I'm doing it from the perspective of being married to...
They always want fucking Prince Perfect.
Being married to my ex-wife, who, up until we got married, didn't give one fuck about wedding dresses, wedding cakes. She knew about them. Yeah. She had an idea of what she wanted, but she didn't give a fuck until we set a date.
Yeah.
Then you have to start planning.
And then it was a fucking free-for-all. And she's like, hey, what do you want? I was like, you plan it.
Yeah.
I'll show up.
I'll if it all goes off the fucking rails, then I'll come in and help. But other than that, it's yours. She goes, well, it's both of our day. Like, I understand that, but this more. She goes, no, I've never been that way. So if you have something to say, I said, don't worry, I'll say it. But you know what I want and everything else. So she was never programmed. That's what I'm saying. This is for the rest of the world. She's the average JoJo or Joette, where she wasn't involved in that whole princess bullshit. growing up, to become a stay-at-home wife, blah blah blah. And neither was Heather. And
Me either.
And neither was
that's
the
good.
one behind her.
There's always exceptions to it, but I'm talking.
No, the exceptions to it.
We were anti-princess. I didn't even have dresses. I had nada.
Yeah, the exceptions to it are the 1%ers. Most people don't sit there and think about what their wedding day is going to be.
I really believe it's part of a chick thing.
Yeah,
it's just born.
It doesn't
in.
happen until
like how little boys pick up sticks and play with guns. This is what comes out with chicks. Not saying that every boy does. Again, like I said, I know a lot of chicks that are not into that at all.
Yeah.
Don't even give a shit. Don't care. Not interested in it at all.
Yeah.
Want to get married. Think that's great. But when it came to like wedding planning, like they don't even care.
Yeah. But most of them are that way. It's
And
the 1%ers that are always thinking about being married and carrying around their little babies when they're young.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
5%.
I didn't necessarily, I didn't even want to have kids.
I use 1% as.
Well, I mean, tell that to fucking movies like Tangled and
that's a
Frozen.
movie.
Disney
That's
princess
not.
crap.
It's still.
Nobody
our
sings that good all
daughters
the
are
time.
watching it.
not
but-
that many people sing that good, but
But that's
starts
not
from-
reality. That's just a fantasy that
So,
someone has come up with.
I
because
had-
it's a fairy tale.
I
It's just like
had the happily ever after.
it's a fake fairy tale. It's not even based on the real fairy tale.
burned into my brain because my biological parents still married.
Right.
My adopted on parents were still married and together, and every example that I had around me really was you get married and you stay together.
That's
and
same with me.
I mean, in both sets of parents, everything were
Yeah, it's
always
taught like racism.
from 18 on they were together, and that's the way it was. And so that's the
Your
only
analogies
thing.
are just fucked up.
That's the only thing I knew. So for me, like
They're funny, though.
that's what you do, and that's you get married and you're happily ever after, and burr, and that's just how it happens. Yeah, it fucking happened for me. But I mean, I went all the way from you're gonna have the happily ever after, but I mean, it was a long motherfucking crawl from 23 for the last 20 years.
Right.
20 years. It was a long fucking crawl. Going from that to where I am now, where they're like, oh, well, you can have a wedding. Like, what do you want? And I just look at them and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'll just show up. Like, I don't even care. Like, am I going to get married at the end of the day? All right, cool. That's cool. Like, sounds great. We're going to give you a ring. Awesome. What do you want? I don't even give a fuck. Just give me a band. That's how I ended up with what I have. Thank you, Sharif Jewelers. But, just show up and there it is. And I almost felt bad for my husband because he's never been married before, that he might want some of that. And I just kept thinking, he's a dude. Like, I kept feeling like I was shorting him. I'm like, he's a dude. He probably didn't care. So, I mean, for me, that was fine. But, I've already done the opposite. So I got my one big wedding. I did all the planning.
Yeah.
I did had the flowers I wanted, had the music playing when I wanted it, had the food I wanted. It was awesome. It was a great party. And I didn't need that after that. I was good. I
Yeah.
was solid. I'd done that.
Once one and done.
One and done.
Did you go into a shitload of debt?
Nope.
Yeah, see that? So you can do it. A woman can have her day. She can have her special day, and not have to pay for it for years.
But
afterwards.
a lot of it was done on the cheap in a lot of ways. But I mean,
It's still,
obviously it wasn't
still
like.
cost a fucking.
Dollar Tree banners.
I mean,
armload,
we
dude.
had a couple of bottles of booze, but other people brought booze in. But I mean, I did have some beer, and then sodas and shit. But it was like, it wasn't plated fucking dinners and open bars and ice sculptures.
Freshenet champagne.
Yeah, no.
$5
Fresca.
bottles.
Yeah.
Or no, champagne.
Yeah.
Shasta.
It was Mountain Dew and orange juice for mimosas.
Yeah.
Catered
No,
by
it wasn't
Shasta.
any of that stuff at all.
Mountain Dew and Simply D.
It was definitely a
Or
weird,
Sunny D.
we're 23 and doing this on our own type of thing.
Yeah, I got married at the Heart of Reno in Chapel, and of course Reno.
God, see, that's one time I did elope in Reno, but it was we did it
I
at the Nugget.
I know someone that got married in Vegas. They wanted to get married in Vegas, and they did.
Elvis. They do it. Elvis.
I believe it was, yeah. At
At
the whatever chapel, the famous the Chapel of Love or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
they call it.
Next time.
All right.
Yeah, I remember where
Let's
I got
move
married. There was a fucking Polaroid of Rappin' Fote. He got married there. The Bay Area.
Oh
rapper.
my
Anybody
God,
knows
did
him?
he do the Diddy?
He just had the bling mouth when he smiled in the picture with his ugly wife.
Happily ever after. It doesn't fucking exist for anybody.
No,
It's a bunch of bullshit.
it's a lie.
Think of the couple that you know right now. Those of you out there that you think is the happiest married, they're not fucking happily married all the time. It's like very small pieces of happiness followed by mundane, and then the rest of it is just angry bullshit.
I say mixing it up is very important.
Angry
you know
bullshit. What the fuck? Oh, God. Okay.
Hey, there's the hedgehog. Okay, you know what? This is funny you bring this up because I think that like to keep a marriage strong over time, you need to start changing some shit up. Like I've caught myself a few times when I'm on X videos watching the Playboy show called Swing, where it deals with couples that want to try swinging and shit.
Swinging does not mean happily ever after.
And I'll tell you what adds a little fun to the life. And I'll tell you what, man, that shit looks like fun. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but I'm saying that shit.
I
looks
don't
like
know
fun.
where this comes in with happily ever after, but okay.
Because you gotta find ways to keep it working. That's what I'm saying.
But you're not in a relationship.
But see, you're thinking about just the sexual piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
I know
there's
people
always
that
more
are
to it
happily
than that,
married
yeah.
that don't even have sex anymore.
Yeah. They just
Well, I
sit
mean,
there
they're
and drink
married.
lemonade.
I don't know if one is super happy,
Together.
but
Mhm.
they don't do
Yep.
that.
All right.
They don't do that sex thing anymore.
Hold on, I got to get beyond this beginning.
This is Ron Jeremy. You're listening to Porno Sonic.
All right, good.
Do you want me to read it in my not Heather voice?
You can
my
read
professional
it in
voice.
whatever voice you want to read it in. But first, we got to do the drink of the day.
Oh God, I'm ready.
Tequila infused Flaming Hot Cheetos.
No.
Or Flaming Hot Cheetos infused tequila.
No, sounds like a really bad idea.
Phil.
This sounds like I'm going to be putting ice cubes in my butthole the next day.
Fill a sealable container with Flaming Hot Cheetos. Pour in tequila. Fill to the top.
No.
Refrigerate for at least 3 hours. Then strain out the Cheetos. What
Don't
do you
they
do with
get
the Cheetos?
mushy?
And,
Yeah, the Cheeto pulp.
Oh.
and serve with a lime wedge. Note, tiny oil bits may remain in the tequila after infusion.
God.
You can keep as is or store the tequila in the freezer. The bits will solidify, and then you can easily scoop or strain them out.
Oh my God.
Full of red
Are
dye
you
number 40.
fucking kidding?
2 cups Flaming Hot Cheetos. Mash them. It doesn't say mash them, but mash them. Break it down.
Yeah,
Does that
powder 'em,
help?
Powder them, yeah.
Yes. Anything with
Snort it. You can
infused.
snort it, yeah.
Carl used to make infused vodka.
Yeah.
Oh my
With
God.
Cheetos?
No. With other, whatever.
I mean, I'm not saying that I
Like
can't imagine
maraschino
Carl
cherries or
making that, but
Kool-Aid infused
I do
vodka.
mine with pork rinds.
Kool-Aid infused vodka.
don't you just pour Kool-Aid in it?
Well, liqueur. You would use a liqueur. Anyways,
mean-
so you would crush up the Cheetos. You take they say 1 cup, but 1 bottle of silver tequila, because if you're making a liqueur
Nobody
type,
wants to drink that much.
1 lime. That's it. All right. Are you ready for your new challenge, Heather?
I'm gonna make the flaming hot Cheeto. Actually, you know what? Shit, my husband doesn't like hot stuff. I'm gonna have
What?
to. Yeah, no, he's not. He don't like spicy. He's 100% white boy. Can't eat
Okay.
spicy.
Fuck, I love spicy.
Well, define spicy.
I
Like,
can sometimes get some tapateo in him.
bean burritos with hot sauce.
Not big on that. No, he's not big on that. No. Doesn't like
I want to
the
go on hot
stuff.
ones and see how far I could fucking make it. I don't think I could
Do you
sit
think
here.
you're gonna eat a ghost pepper?
I'll do it.
That's not what I asked. Though.
Oh God.
Yes, I could. I could eat it.
All I
Have
gotta
you eaten
say
ghost
right
pepper
now
No.
is this drink
I couldn't do it.
sounds like it's gonna look the same going in
I have a
as
problem
it does
with Flaming
coming
Hot
out of my
Cheetos.
ass. Will my toilet be that color red?
Probably.
Oh,
It's just gonna blow right out of you. But can you eat Flaming Hot Cheetos?
Yeah.
Do you eat them like normal? Have you tried it with the lime?
No.
Flaming Hot Cheetos with lime?
No.
The lime ones aren't bad. The Flaming Hot Cheetos are way too much for me.
I don't like the flavor. That's why I've eaten them before, and I've had a whole bag, because I'm a fat guy. But
I think this
yeah,
drink
I
gave
don't,
me
I
pink
don't like
eye.
the flavor either. But it's like they took Tabasco sauce.
there's just too much sweet. There's a little bit of sweet in there that doesn't feel right. It just doesn't.
It's just too hot.
No.
The hot doesn't bother me. I mean, I get my lips get a little fucking chappy.
I got a kid that eats Takis. Is that like what it tastes like?
Takis can do that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
Takis can get hot. The fuego. Yeah, you eat the fuego.
And fuego Takis.
Your drink gave me pink eye.
Soy fuego.
I did not give you pink eye.
I don't know. It feels like
That-
I guess I'm.
Oh, Mike's poo particles got in your eye.
The
I
drink gave
haven't
me pink eye.
shit today.
The drink gave me pink eye.
So don't fucking blame me. You were the last one to use the bathroom.
That was 2 days ago.
That was yesterday.
Your fault.
No, that was 2 days ago.
No, that was yesterday.
That was Monday.
That was my stomach is gurgling.
Because I
had
haven't
to
shit
take
in
a
2 days before today, and that was the last time was when I was here. That was Monday.
All right, moving on.
Good reason not to eat that healthy.
Are you ready, Heather?
I'm ready.
Chapter 1.
Is this why you're asking me if I could read from over there?
Yes.
Oh, fuck me.
Ready? Well, hold on. I got to start the
Ooh,
music.
you're already getting it started nicely.
Do not interrupt.
I won't.
We read Friends of the Teacher. By
You guys can't see it right now, but we're all
Sinclair.
grooving. Chapter 1. Dearest Bill, the letter began.
Time out. Hold on.
And it went away.
I have to be fair, I have to turn it down, so there you go.
Okay. We're at Dearest Bill, the letter began. I've arrived safe and sound. See, your future wife can take care of herself. I'm excited and tired and dirty and excited. She signed her name, Beth, with love and kisses, folded the letter neatly, put it in an envelope, sealed it, and wrote out Bill's address on the back. East, New York City, to be exact. Licked a stamp, thumped it.
It went black.
Shh, don't be racist, Joe. Don't be racist in my porn. Licked a stamp, thumped it with her fist, and sat back in her chair with a yawn so deep it curled her toes and stretched her arms. She looked at the clock and yawned again. It was only 8:30, but she felt like it was 2 a.m. She had been driving all day over the flat tabletop land of Arizona, determined to get to her destination before dark. Everything in Arizona seemed much closer than it really was. Or maybe it seemed further away. She shook her head and rubbed her eyes. She was so tired she couldn't think straight. Joe's getting really into this. She got up and moved around her little camper. She was in a camper? In a loose, sleepy way, straightening up, smoothing out the bed. They have a bed in a camper. And then checking the curtains on the windows before undressing. Beth, just turned 21, on her own for the first time in her life, had a... First time... had a voluptuous young bod. She kicked off her cowgirl boots, wiggled her tight, tantalizing hips out of her jeans arm, took off her blouse. That doesn't run. Go together.
And
throwing all of her clothes in a hamper. How does she have a hamper in a camper? And stood in her bare feet, clad only in a bra and thin white little panties. Her body was Beth's biggest problem and source of concern to her fiancé, Bill Travers, far away in New York. It was simply too good. It had been a source of concern and near raging frustration when they were together in New York. Beth couldn't help it. Physically, she was at the zenith of her life. Later, if she wasn't careful, she would have a weight problem. What? Now she was just right. Filled out to the utmost in all the right places. Her breasts were large and heavy, yet firm and pointed in a way that could only bring attention to them.
Okay, class. Our final exam will be coming up at the end of this week. The test will be comprised of 20% written, 30% oral, and 50% anal.
This wasn't planned, but it's really funny.
Professor,
Yes, dear.
will there be any extra credit?
There'll be extra.
this is so awesome.
There'll be extra credit on this. Where was the hamper in the camper?
I love this music. This music's fucking groovy.
Okay, let me get into it again.
Camper was in Arizona.
They were fine, protruding melons, smooth and perfectly round. Her stomach was slightly round and soft as baby's breath, smelling of milk yet firm. Her buttocks were like sponge rubber and constantly undulated in a provocatively teasing way whenever she walked or even moved. Had she been short, her figure might have been too heavy. But she wasn't short. Beth's legs were long and equally well formed. When she wore her jeans, her thighs seemed to protrude enticingly, and her whole lower torso directed attention to her pubic mound, which seemed to snuggle her soft flesh like a prize to be sought.
Her fucking moose knuckle.
Her mondus. It was her face that took people back. With such a figure, one would expect to get a girl with a showgirl face. Yet, Beth Carruthers came from a very old and good New England family, so she had probably very shitty teeth. Her profile was elegant and almost regal and aloof. In fact, when she had pulled into migrant workers' camp earlier that day, when she stepped out of the bus, she was greeted by the workers and their families. The men present had taken their hats off. This was a lady, not a regular whore.
She was a lady.
She was also a school teacher,
she's
which
a
actually goes
lady.
with the weird introduction thing we had in between the songs. And Beth went about her business with an efficient enthusiasm. But before she was through, she had already formed classes, distributed books, and assigned students times and tasks. And she had loved the people. Those Mexican people. Always, she had felt she wanted to help the common people. The people who were the backbone of this nation. Now her chance had come, and she was elated, floating on air. For 1 year, she would travel through the Southwest, teaching young, underprivileged people who had never had the chance to set foot in a school with their bare feet. Sponsored by Private Foundation. What, do you not like me interjecting my own stuff? What, you want me to keep reading?
Well, I was waiting for Ron Jeremy to come back. So, okay, go ahead.
Okay, we're good. We're not doing school teacher anymore. For 1 year, she would travel through the Southwest, teaching young, underprivileged people who didn't have any shoes and probably had malaria. Sponsored by a private foundation that her uncle was head of, she had browbeat him, her family, and Bill into letting her have a chance at doing something worthwhile. She was persistent and eloquent in her campaign and finally won reluctant approval. Bill had been the hardest to convince. No matter how they discussed the project, he simply couldn't see her going off by herself.
He was hard.
With a lot of goons and not seeing him. Oh, Bill. Bill, his handsome face, serious and dark, had nodded with growing anger. Oh, so that's it now, huh? I don't understand the working man, and I have no compassion for my fellow man. I have no humanity, huh? Let me tell you, I was in the army. I saw those guys in action the shower. I'm not being a bigot. I'm being realistic. Beth, for God's sake, there's a difference between being real and being poor. We both know some well-to-do people who are pretty real too. Just because a person is poor doesn't always mean they're nice. What? I know so many super nice poor people in Olivehurst. Standing in her camper, Beth unclasped her bra, and her breast seemed to leap with elation. Glad they were free. Oh, look at the breasts. They stood out, causing a deep and sensual cleavage. As they shook slightly as she walked in her weird camper with a hamper. She shook her head sadly. Her parting with Bill had not been good. Hooking her thumbs into her panties, she wiggled out of them, peeling them off as if they were second skin, her buttocks quivering and shifting. She stood erect, naked, her lovely, long, soft, and sensual in the dim light of the camper. Her hand softly ran down her nakedness, feeling the curve of her hips, the slimness of her waist, and the full, voluptuous richness of her breast. Her nipples hardening slightly as she rubbed her fingers over them. Why is she doing this in a camper? Is she going to take a shower?
Champer.
A champer.
Camper hamper.
A camper hamper. She closed her eyes and thought of her last evening with Bill. He told her he was gay. He had taken her out to dinner that night, a night of farewell for almost a year. He had drunk too much during dinner and insisted on going to a favorite bar of his on 3rd Avenue, where all of his advertising friends hung out. He had drunk too much, she already said that, finally getting surly with her.
It's a lot of exposition.
Reluctantly, Beth asked to be taken home. Having worked in the mail room of Bill's advertising agency, she had her own little apartment outside her door. Although still drunk, Bill became contrite and apologized, asking if he could come up to say goodbye. Beth was relieved and let him go up and placed him on a couch where she made strong black coffee in her kitchenette. Bill had been good for a while. Drinking the coffee. Oh, I thought she was going for long-term here. Drinking the coffee and asking for a refill. Beth understood, after all, she was leaving the man she was going to marry. It was a big moment in her life, and she wanted it to be right. Why the fuck is she leaving someone? She's getting married. She rationalized that Bill drank so much because he was upset. We're really talking about Bill drinking. Then he began to get amorous. Evidently, he doesn't have whiskey dick. And that, too, was all right. She loved Bill, wanted to marry him and be his wife and the mother of his children. Always. She wanted to give herself to him, for she felt passion sweep through her body like a brush fire as he grew bolder and more forceful. Her long black hair fell loose under his fumbling, and he had her bent back on the couch, her breasts jutting upward under her dress. In brazen invitation, she had struggled, trying to push him away with a warning, "Bill." Usually one admonition from her was enough, but not that night. Her struggles only seemed to excite him all the more as he looked down and saw her syrupy young body writhing sensually under her dress. Then his hands were on her thighs, stroking them, exploring boldly and roughly. "Bill, was all she could get out before he kissed her hard on the mouth. Beth made the mistake of relaxing for a minute. It felt so good with his arms crushing her and his mouth on hers. It was all the encouragement he needed. He was like an animal, grunting and breathing through his nose. His hot tongue shot into her mouth. This doesn't even sound sexy.
This is so awesome. This is such the worst porno book ever.
To do the same. This is terrible. All we know about is him drinking is just a hamper. Seemed like he had 14 pawing hands. Now he's an Indian god with 14 hands.
Or he's a mime.
And they were everywhere, all over her body, trying to escape the invisible box. As he pushed her down on the couch and was half on top of her. "Bill," she exclaimed, pulling her mouth free for a moment. "For God's sake, stop this." "Why?" he snarled. And Beth looked at his face, her eyes wide. He was drunk. We already knew. Unreasonably drunk because he drank a lot and didn't know what he was saying or doing. When he had been quiet and polite before, he had simply been numb. Now the alcohol had triggered a deep desire in him. His eyes were glazed and unseeing. His face was twisted in a way she had never seen before. And his breath reeked of scotch. Scotchety scotch. "Why?" he asked again, taunting. Give ya a little going away present, he said thickly. "Gonna do it for those workers anyway." "What?" He looked boastful. "You're gonna do it for your fiancé."
Fiance.
But that's not how it's spelled.
Fiance.
He laughed hard.
It's a tight and unrelaxed ass. It's an unhappy ass.
Okay. Started pawing her body again with all 14 of his hands, pulling up her dress with a sneer on his face. "Bill, this is me, Beth."
Calling.
"Beth, I hear you calling, but I'm really drunk right now," she said in a frightened voice, trying to penetrate his alcoholic fog. "Bill, don't ruin it all. Stop, please. Remember our promise." The promise she was trying to remind of us when they made long ago. No sex until marriage. Beth's parents trusted her to live alone. How old is this book? Beth's parents trusted her to live alone? And it seemed the least she could do was honor their trust. It seemed silly and old-fashioned, yet she liked the idea of going into her marriage knowing she was giving herself for the first time to the man she loved. Bill had agreed, reluctantly, and then been good about it until tonight. Now his hand was between her legs, and her dress had been forced up to her hips, exposing the thin white crotch band of her panties. All she evidently wears is white panties. Elvis's dream. Her long, naked legs writhed on the couch, and she tried to close them, and only succeeded in trapping Bill's probing hand beneath her strong between her strong thighs and guiding it to her nylon-covered.
You're killing the moment.
Pubic curls. What? She felt his hand close over the protective material of her panties, and a hot rush of pleasure throbbed through her belly. "Bill, for God's sake, stop," she cried, fighting harder now, fighting her own desire as much as his strength. She struggled, managing to upset him slightly and getting her hands free. He attacked her again, a guttural snarl in his throat, drunkenly lashing out and catching a shoulder of her dress and pulling at it with his strength, turning her half around with his force and ripping the dress down the front. "Bill Travers, you're drunk and crazy," she yelled, going on the defense, trying to hold the dress together.
This is fucking horrendous.
This is so awful. He stared at her like she was a stranger. "Crazy, huh?" he mumbled. He reached and tore at the dress again, ripping it away from her body and revealing her milk white breasts. I thought that was going somewhere else.
That was definitely a happy ass. Miss Fairchild, I'm going to need you to stay late again and take dictation.
Why, Mr. Jeremy, it would be my pleasure.
Well then, milk-white breasts quivering under her bra. A lewd grin came over his open mouth, and 2 brutal fingers hooked themselves in the bra and tore with relentless force. The bra snapped. It was torn from her body. Beth tried to hide her now naked breasts with her hands, cupping the nipples defensively as Bill fought with her hands. He pulled one hand free, and his mouth clamped on the naked tip like a suction cup. And Beth struggled, her head back, his hot mouth sucking at her nipple, making it grow hard and taut. Bill, stop! Stop before it's too late! Oh, God, stop! She pleaded, softly as she struggled, subdued, her body writhing in a kind of sensual rhythm to the inner pulsating pleasure she was feeling involuntarily rising in her body. Her dress was now a torn rag, with Bill's hands tearing, pawing, caressing, and the one hand still between her legs. Okay. Fingers, well, now we're massaging her vagina through rapidly moistening panties. One finger protruded, forcing the band between her rapidly swelling and parting vaginal lips.
Vaginal.
Shh. I'm reading this.
Stop correcting her.
Vaginal.
Vaginal lips, the nylon of her panties. Aided by his ravaging finger, was hurting her and yet exciting her at the same time as it worked its way inexorably toward her vagina and clitoris. She felt a dampness of excitement between her legs, and her breath was coming deeper and faster. He bent her back again, the small of her back bending over. This sounds like a terrible way to do your first time. Like, is he gonna, like, lube it or anything?
By the way, in the background, if you're listening to the music, you can hear them moaning and groaning.
Oh, God, great.
No shit.
More quickly than she thought he could move, his mouth flew to her other breast, and his tongue licked at the nipple as his lips closed over it and sucked. He sucked hard enough to hurt. But it didn't. It felt good. It felt good, and it aroused a dark passion inside of her that had remained dormant except for wild, lewd dreams she sometimes had. Now she was nearly naked and helpless and loving it. Incredible for her to think, but she loved it. Her mouth parted in a slow, lewdly accepting smile, and she felt as if her whole body was swimming in warm butter. And Bill's mouth closed over her heatedly pulsating breast was driving her butter, huh? Then grunting, he started taking off his own clothes, pulling his pants down and kicking them off. He fumbled for a moment, then squirmed over on top of her, and she felt his heavy, hard weight on her nearly naked body as his arms kept her from falling over the arm. And she felt something else. For the first time, they're putting headphones on me now. For the first time since she had known him, she'd felt his hot male hardness press against her. This is horrible. It was so exciting and lewd. Bill, she murmured. Oh, God, Bill. But now one of his arms reached down and he slid his fingers between her hip and the panties and began pulling them down, tugging wildly, then lost all control and ripped them completely from her helplessly squirming loins.
Helplessly squirming loins.
What? Were they bathing in butter again?
This book needs to be heavily edited.
No, she pleaded.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Jeremy speaking.
Hold on.
Before we depart, please make sure all tray tables are in their upright positions and all packages are stowed in their proper compartments. Prepare for takeoff. Are we off? That's it. Ah.
What is that noise?
Oh, that's nice. Oh, honey, watch your teeth. Watch your teeth. Oh, this is great.
Oh, no. It's not.
Oh, God, the mic is still on. Oh, I'm sorry. Folks, I'm sorry. This has been embarrassing.
No, it's not, Jeremy.
Well, now you know why they call it a cockpit.
Oh, God. Jeremy, you have Ron Jeremy puns.
Yeah, the hedgehog. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Do you want these headphones back? No, she pleaded. But it was too late. The panties were torn away, the tattered remnants hanging loosely down on one thigh. He had accomplished his purpose. Her vagina was nakedly exposed, along with the softly curling down of her pubic hair. Beth, moaning helplessly now, felt his cock, huge and throbbing, pressed forcefully between her thighs, and he pushed down hard, then began pumping slowly back and forth. Bill, stop, you've got to go. What, like right now, bitch? Like that's when? I'll never speak to you again, liar. Stop! She groaned helplessly beneath him, her long silken hair flailing vainly from side to side. Yet he couldn't stop. Possibly couldn't even hear her as he went about prying her legs apart with one hand, while his other hand bent her back over the arm of the couch and his mouth greedily sucked at her breast, leaving the nipples tense and wet, slowly, with brute force, his nails digging into the insides of her thighs. He forced her legs open, and as she cried out, she could feel his thick prick slip between her legs, the blunt end of it, as opposed to the very sharp end of the penis, push against her involuntarily lubricated ant.
That's a misspell.
They obviously did not edit this well.
Couple letters off.
So her aunt got in on this too, because it's a lubricated ant. Spreading the eager vaginal lips, something in her turned to jelly. It felt so good. Nothing had ever felt so good or so lewd. She remembered the thought going through her mind. If I had known how good it was, I'd do it all the time.
Okay, this
is taking too long, Michael.
Yes.
So when do we hear more about her lubricated ant?
I gotta find
Mike,
it now.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think they meant to write ant.
What sucks is that I put the headphones on you so you could hear all the orgasming in the background, and it ended right when I put the fucking headphones on.
It did. I had to wait until like Ron Jeremy was getting a Hummer in the microphone.
Yeah.
What happened?
They fuck. I mean, you know, this weird drunken rape fucking scenario.
Oh, she's in the camper again.
Hold on, I gotta find Ant.
She says no, but her body wants it. She needs it. She's throbbing.
Somewhere.
Here it right is. There. Her involuntary lubricated ant.
There it is. All right, so we're going to
burn this.
Yeah,
burn this entire book. This was horrible. She was swimming in butter. Is she a lobster? What is that?
This is the opening salvo. This is...
In case over the moaning, you guys couldn't figure it out. Sometimes I was adding my own shit in there.
So, read until here.
Okay.
So, it's just that much longer. There's the ant right there.
Where's the ant? Where's the lubricated ant?
Her lubricated ant.
A shudder of wild, unwanted pleasure racked her body, relaxing all of her muscles, and she closed her eyes with a long sigh that dropped down into a moan as she felt the smooth, rubbery head of his cock slipping up. It was probably a dildo, yeah. Its path. Lubricated by her growing excitement, spreading her vaginal lips until they hurt. But they hurt deliciously. Despite herself, her hips wiggled and undulated, and her can't. Do they have a problem with the word cunt?
No, because it's properly spelled in the next paragraph.
Okay, so we went from her ant to her can't?
Yeah, ant, can't, cunt.
Okay, so next is going to be her pant. The tingling edges of her vagina throbbed in growing hunger. Bill felt her responding...
It's either vagina or cunt.
Underneath. Felt her responding underneath her and shifted his way and wrote this, pulling back and gazing at her naked body with the tattered remains of her dress and panties still clinging to it, and he grinned like a greedy and lewd rapist. Well, it kind of sounds that way anyways through most of it. Gotta be honest with you, people. His eyes glazed with alcohol and desire. He pulled her down on her back on the couch and pressed his body harder down on top of her. Causing her to gasp for breath. His cock again probing, searching hungrily for her defenseless young cunt. Not her aunt. And not
searching
her can't.
Hungrily.
We've gotten serious now.
Yeah.
Because they're spelling it right.
Now I hear the moaning.
Down to the
If she hadn't
nitty-gritty.
seen his face, she might have gone on. She might have followed her equally wild desire and given herself to him. No, it wasn't right. He was drunk and brutal and probably wouldn't even remember
is
the
it?
next day.
It's the plumber.
Plumber? I didn't call a plumber.
She wasn't Beth. His love, the woman he was going to marry. She was at this moment anybody, a naked female body to ravish. Her upbringing, her sense of honor, her love for the tender Bill came welling up, dampening the passion. Putting her hands on his shoulders and using every bit of strength she had, she closed her eyes and shoved and twisted him to one side. She caught him by surprise in his drunken stupor. He tried to grab her, but he was too late, and he fell off the couch and crashed to the floor on his back, his head hitting a corner of the coffee table on the way down. He fell with a crash and lay still. I think he's dead. His eyes closed. Bill, she called softly, covering her breast and drawing her knees up as she looked down at him. Bill, are you all right? Bill, don't play games. Answer me. Concern made her widen her eyes with a little cry. She slipped off the couch and knelt beside him, naked, her breasts practically hanging in his face. As she bent to hear his breathing, with a sigh of relief, she pulled back one eyelid and only saw white.
And that's where we're going to leave this one. Because
she killed Bill.
I'm just
Is this like
gushing
Kill
with
Bill?
excitement.
This is Kill Bill. Is this what you're having me read?
No.
I think this is Bill the Rapist.
Bill the Rapist.
Yeah, chapter 2 is like, this is way too long. It's only 85 pages long.
I think the beginning of those pages was chapter 1.
I think you read 83 of them.
Yeah, fucking 9 pages in, and we're still on chapter
Oh my god,
1.
there was times where you were reading it like all sensually, and then there was times where you're just like, and then she went to the trailer.
Well, because I'm trying to like figure out like what the fuck are they trying to write here?
It's awful. This is probably 30,
This is
40,
terrible.
40 years old.
I
More than
really,
40
I
years
really,
old.
really, really mostly enjoy so far the hamper and the camper. It's kind of like the Zares under the stairs and the walk it in your pocket. But also the lubricated ant.
What about the drunken rape session?
So what we're going to do is we're basically just going to read like 10 paragraphs at a time.
Your porn gave me pink eye.
Sorry. And so that way it doesn't take so long.
Well,
we got an unguent for that.
But we also have
I want you guys to know I
Pornosonic.
think that he's dead.
He may be dead.
Is this a necrophilia porn?
No. Unfortunately.
Dude, the hedgehog's still alive. He's still doing pornos.
No,
Occasionally.
not Ron Jeremy.
Oh,
I meant
okay.
the guy in the story. I mean, we know the lubricated ant is okay, but Bill, man, he hit his head on the corner of the coffee table, remember? Now we're just grooving. Dr. Sex.
This is getting to the point where it's like watching German Spackelparty for too long, and you just start to feel gross after a while.
You feel gross after listening to this?
I love German Sparkle Party.
Yeah, it gets me to a point, yeah.
Yeah, this is a party.
Yeah, they brought my party pans.
There's some good music on that 70s porn, that fucking unreleased.
And now we're fucking going through it again. Motherfucker.
Yeah, we are. This is actually a pretty good fucking, like, here it is. That's just basically.
It's super bad.
All right. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we blew our load with that one, didn't we?
All right, next time, tune in and see if Bill's dead.
Yeah. We're going to find out if Bill's dead on the next adventure of, I don't know what this is called.
I don't even. Do you have a name for this section?
On the next adventure of Bill and Beth.
And the lubricated ant.
Beth's lubricated ant. Friends of the teacher. I like Beth's lubricated ant better.
I like that better, too.
So on the next adventure of Beth's lubricated ant, we're going to find out what happened to Bill. Is Bill dead?
What's in the hamper?
Can you do like a recap? Can you do like that? On the next adventure of lubricated ant.
Lubricated ant.
On the next episode of Lubricated Ant.
No.
Bill.
Not sensual. You got to do it like in Law and Order, you know. On the next episode of Law and Order.
Dun dun. Dick Wolf.
On the next episode of Lubricated Ant, Bill locates his penis.
No.
I don't fucking know.
The next episode of Lubricated Ant. Beth kills Bill. Something like that. Let's see. There we go. There. Okay. We're right there. On the next episode of Lubricated and did Beth kill Bill?
What's in the hamper?
And what's in the hamper and the camper?
And what's the white stuff in front of her eyes?
In a hole in the bottom of the ocean.
All right, we're done with this.
Okay, so cocktails out. Ooh.